fight, yeah. For boxers his level, yes.
Meaning what? Not your level?
I do not believe so. No, not at all.
Mike Tyson just went after Jake Paul because Jake finally spoke up about November 15th. Not only did he spread crazy rumors that the fight was rigged, but now he's also claiming Tyson needed money to fight. Really, Jake?
I've always been in the gym training. I'm in boxing, professional fighters. I'm just, activity is great. I had 15 fights in 1 year when I was younger, and I think activity is great, but I'm prepared.
The guy who's been a global icon for decades is now begging a YouTuber for money? Seriously? But hold on, does Jake even know the rules of boxing? Or is he just making things up? It's hard to say because, at this point, he clearly has no clue what he's talking about. And now, he's about to face the consequences. Honestly, the Tyson versus Paul fight was something nobody asked for, yet everyone couldn't stop watching.
Tyson is getting back in the ring. He's 58 years old. He's facing off against YouTuber-turned-boxer, 27-year-old Jake.
When news broke that 57-year-old Mike Tyson would be fighting 27-year-old Jake Paul, the internet was shocked. Was this a real match or just a bizarre midlife crisis? Even before the fight started, critics were calling it a circus. The age gap was just one issue. On one side was Tyson, a boxing legend, and on the other, Jake Paul, a social media star-turned boxer whose biggest skill is going viral. It was like mixing vintage wine with cheap soda. Then came Jake's most ridiculous claim, his so-called financial rescue theory. He suggested that Tyson begged for the fight because he needed the money. Really, Jake? The same Mike Tyson who built a cannabis empire and probably has more cash lying around than you have in your crypto wallet? Fans were furious.
There is an alleged script leak. This has not been confirmed. Take it with a grain of salt. No one knows if this is real.
Just when the fight hype was starting to fade, the so-called script leaked. And this wasn't some random Reddit rumor. It was a detailed, round-by-round breakdown of how the fight was supposed to play out. According to the script, Tyson would start strong with his classic bob and weave. Jake would survive the early rounds, and by round 5, Tyson would go down after a perfectly timed right hook. Sounds like something straight out of a Hollywood script, right? Fans were shocked by how specific the leak was, and even more stunned by how closely it matched reality. Tyson looked slower. Jake seemed more precise, and even the part about Tyson getting cut above the eye actually happened. Suddenly, the fight felt less like boxing and more like a well-planned WrestleMania event with top-tier PR.
That love Mike, and despite what he said in that interview with the girl about the legacy, we love him and his legacy.
Meanwhile, Tyson stayed oddly quiet. No angry denial, no public outburst. It was almost as if he was letting people talk, or maybe trying to figure out who leaked the script. If there really was a contract with a confidentiality clause, someone was in big trouble. But Jake, being Jake, couldn't keep his mouth shut. On his podcast, he casually mentioned that he eased off during the fight to avoid hurting Tyson, because, of course, he was a real threat. That little comment exploded faster than one of Tyson's uppercuts. Was Jake admitting the fight was staged? Was he just showing off? Or worse, was he too clueless to realize he might have just exposed a career-ending secret? At this point, the Tyson versus Paul fight went from controversial to downright legendary for all the wrong reasons. Fans weren't just questioning the match anymore. They were rewriting the entire storyline in their heads.
Exactly. I started to manifest. Thank you. I started Jake Paul off.
Mike Tyson's patience ran out faster than Jake Paul's claims of being a real boxer. After weeks of hearing rigging accusations and watching that so-called fight script spread like wildfire, Tyson finally responded. And this time, it wasn't with his fists. In an interview with Fox Sports Radio, the former heavyweight champ shut down the rigging rumors, making it clear that the fight was real. He didn't just say it. He practically growled it, daring anyone to question whether taking 78 punches was all part of some grand conspiracy. And let's be clear, Tyson wasn't just dismissing the rumors. He was furious. His point was simple. You don't fake waking up the next morning feeling like you got hit by a cement truck.
Look at my life as a legacy. Legacy to me means ego. Who the cares about my legacy? I'm going to be dead soon one day. But he's not going to win.
But this wasn't just about the physical pain. Tyson's real anger came from what the rigging rumors did to his legacy. For him, it wasn't just an insult. It was like getting slapped in the face with brass knuckles. His legendary status now had an asterisk next to it, all because of a viral fight script that sounded like a rejected Rocky sequel. Behind the scenes, things got even messier. Insiders claimed there was an NDA non-disclosure agreement in place, the kind with scary, all-caps legal warnings. If true, that meant no one was allowed to reveal anything that made the fight seem less than 100% real. And yet, Jake Paul just couldn't keep his mouth shut. On his podcast, he casually claimed he eased off during the fight, acting like some kind of merciful boxing god giving Tyson a break. This wasn't just Jake being cocky, it was potentially NDA-breaking cocky. Sources hinted that Tyson was ready to take legal action. If that NDA existed, Jake might have just crossed a line thicker than Tyson's boxing gloves. And Tyson's rumored rage wasn't just about the fight itself, it was about protecting the brand he spent decades building. The same brand Jake Paul was now dragging through the mud for clicks and content.
Welcome back to The Pain Game. Today we're going to talk Darren Till versus Tommy Fury / John Fury, of course. But first, some more important and quite serious news in the combat sports world. Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul, it's come out now. It was rigged. I can't believe it. You know, you have to question the validity of boxing these days when you can't trust two professionals to get in the ring and do their best against each other. And instead you find out Mike Tyson pulling his punches, not trying to hurt Jake Paul. Absolute disgrace. I thought better of them. You know, I really did. I thought that Mike Tyson, especially, Iron Mike, he was just going to go in there and knock Jake clean out. But here he is, not trying. I'm so disappointed in him. But you don't need to take it from me.
But the fight itself only added more fuel to the fire. Statistically, Jake Paul dominated, landing 78 punches compared to Tyson's mere 18. On paper, it looked like a one-sided masterclass. Except for one major problem. It was Mike Tyson, the same man who used to knock out legends with fewer punches than that on his worst days. Watching Tyson struggle to land even a few clean shots felt like seeing Superman lose a wrestling match to SpongeBob. Yet, ringside footage told a different story. From the crowd's perspective, the hits looked brutal and painfully real. Tyson didn't seem like someone acting out a script. He looked like a man desperately trying to relive his glory days while his body begged him to stop. His once iconic bob and weave was now a slow shuffle, and his punches had the speed of a buffering YouTube video. Even Tyson himself admitted he felt off. He confessed to blanking out mid-fight, raising even more eyebrows. Was it exhaustion, age, or something deeper that no one saw coming? Whatever the reason, his sluggish performance only fueled the conspiracy theories. Even if the real explanation was far less dramatic, it was simply the undeniable march of time.
But that changed when Paul clenched with Tyson. It's alleged he whispered into Tyson's ear to cool it.
But then came the aggression factor. Ringside analysts noticed something interesting. Jake Paul wasn't holding back. He was throwing with bad intentions, landing sharp combinations, and even cutting Tyson above the eye. You could see Jake's competitive side kicking into overdrive, as if he had forgotten he was supposed to be the entertainer, and instead started fighting like a man desperate for legitimacy. And what was the root of all this? Money. Never one to miss a chance to stir the pot, Jake Paul claimed that Mike Tyson came to him out of financial desperation. According to Jake, Tyson needed this fight to keep his bank account from running empty.
I did tell you about it. At the time, I wanted to do a pay-per-view roast, like it was a boxing match, and they'd said, oh yeah, Mike can make $20 million.
Then there was a juicy pay-per-view PPV debate. Industry insiders whispered that both fighters walk away with hefty seven-figure paydays. But did Tyson feel shortchanged? Maybe. If Jake pocketed more thanks to his internet fame, that would have been an extra sting to Tyson's already bruised pride. Imagine spending decades building a legendary career, only to get outturned by a guy known for pranking strangers on YouTube. Ouch. The real question is, was Tyson's return to the ring a smart business move or a desperate grasp at glory? Some say he just wanted one last taste of the spotlight before retirement. Or maybe to prove that even at 57, he could still rearrange someone's face. But stepping into the ring with Jake Paul wasn't just risky. It was like a retired lion challenging a loudmouth hyena. Tyson might have thought this was an easy payday, but he clearly underestimated how far Jake would go for clout. Social media wasn't kind, either. Fans roasted Jake for allegedly disrespecting Tyson, accusing him of milking the fight for publicity while trashing a living legend. Memes, think pieces, and angry tweets flew around like punches in a street brawl. In the court of public opinion, Jake wasn't just a villain. He was a final boss of boxing trolls.
Reason and one reason only, and that is the money. He's getting paid so much money to do this. So that tells me he's getting bought. So again, it is sad that someone like Mike Tyson...
Rumor has it, Tyson didn't just walk away from the fight. He stormed off, leaving behind a trail of blistering words aimed directly at Jake Paul. Insider sources claim Tyson delivered a verbal knockout in a private post-fight conversation, telling Jake, "Stop ruining my legacy and keep my name out of your clout-chasing mouth." Classic Tyson, sharp, direct, and always ready to bite back. There's even speculation that Tyson's team is considering legal action for possible contract violations. If Jake really did hint at fight fixing on his podcast, he might have broken the golden rule of celebrity fights. Don't talk about the script. Tyson's lawyers are reportedly watching closely, ready to pounce if Jake keeps running his mouth. So, what does all this chaos mean for the future of boxing? Has the sport crossed the point of no return, where hype and headlines matter more than skill and legacy? Can boxing survive when fights feel more scripted than spontaneous? And most importantly, how long before fans stop tuning in altogether, tired of wondering whether they are watching a real contest or just another pay-per-view soap opera? The ring was once a place where legends were forged. Now, it's starting to look like just another stage.